Hey everyone, this is Evgeny and we are in another video about MCP protocol. So last time we touched a bit the very basic things about what MCP is and how to use it. And today we are going to dive deeper a bit and learn some details on how it's working. So join me and let's jump into the coding session. Alright, so last time we were checking how to configure MCP protocol in Windsurf editor, and there is a cascade and model context protocol section in the configuration, and you can add server and pick something from the list. But in general, this is some sugar on the top because this is not the way how you configure your servers. And here's you have to go through this view row config, and then you can see all the configurations. So this is the real thing how to do the configuration. And this is important because if you go to other editor like Cursor, like this one, for example, I'm going to Cursor settings, MCP, and I also have this add new global MCP server. But if I click here, add new global MCP server, I'm thrown directly to the same kind of JSON file where I can define manually all my configurations, and this is the way how it works. And we are going to check it in details, what's that and how it looks like, how to configure it properly as a small test in Cursor, how it works in Cursor, but it's more or less the same, right? Because it's the same LLM backed at the end. We do have GitHub and we have some tools and also kind of the same data, right? You see it. There's a description, what you can do with this tool and parameters that it takes, and we have a bunch of them, and then everything and sequential syncing. And my question would be exactly from the previous video, like this is can you check in GitHub when we applied authentication to this project and also provide the relevant info about changes made and everything from GitHub. So it's clear call for MCP GitHub tool, and I'm sending it, and very expectedly there is a Kotlin MCP tool with name search issues, and it has some parameters. We can check it as well, right? And then we can decide and run the tool. So it works more or less exactly the same way as in Windsurf editor. The only difference, right, you have to configure it manually as JSON, and so you need to understand the syntax and you need to understand what should be put there. And it's in Cursor Config MCP section. Alright, so it goes its way. The expected result most probably because it's the same LLM. Your conversation is too long. Okay. So this is a bigger drawback, right, of Cursor when you compare it to Windsurf. But anyway, let's take a look at this format and what it... And here's my diagram. Let me make it a bit smaller so you can see everything. Alright, so this is how it works in details. We are starting first with the configuration, and you saw these kind of snippets already in Cursor and in Windsurf. And the syntax is pretty simple, right? It's pretty clear if you read it through. So we have an MCP servers, and we define a new one with the name of file system and this kind of identifier of the MCP server. And we have a command, in this case it's npx, and we are providing some arguments. So in general, what's interesting here, we are running a TypeScript with npx, and we are running the package with the scope model context protocol. This one I think comes from Microsoft itself, and the MCP server name or package name in this case is server file system. So what's happening next? Once we configure it here, our AI agent system executes the provided command. So npx will be executed, and with this package and some additional parameters, which depends on the use case, right? And this application, its responsibility to start a local server, this one, and this server should follow specific MCP standards, right? So there are definite endpoints, what this server provides, it's possible to discover it. And AI agent this is the expectation from AI agent, right? So once the server is up and running, there is a call for discovery and registering the tools and resources. Yes, it's not only tools, it's about resources as well. And well, probably somewhere in the future, maybe even RAG concepts or other methods how to enrich your LLM will be replaced fully by MCP protocol, right? So once it's registered and discovered by using predefined APIs, the set of available tools are here for AI agent to use. So this is how it works. And again, the very important thing you have to memorize, this is a local server, so it's run on your local machine, and this is very important. And you may want to ask, like, if it's possible to do a remote MCP server, and the answer is no, it's not available at the moment. It's in development, so it's our future, guys, but at the moment, it's not. There is no such an option to run MCP remotely. It's only a local thing, right? And since it's local, then you have to think about that from security perspective, right? Because what's happening here, you are providing a description, right? I will show an example. We have a lot of different examples here of MCP protocol, and I will give the link in the description to this video. And there are a lot of different services. But at the end of the day, for example, let's pick something like RAMP, right? And this is the way how you can configure it. And take a look, right? You're executing a command, and theoretically with some parameters, and theoretically it starts a local server on your local machine, right? But in general, again, this is the program and it's run, and a normal way we are running npx, for example, we have this Node.js environment and it has access to all your local machine, right? Like a file system, for example, can remove every single file if it wants to. It can, I don't know, send emails on your behalf or something else, right? Or read your browser configurations or maybe something else. I mean, you have to really trust the thing that it does not harm you, right? There is no harm. Your trust should be here. So this is the really big issue here with the MCP server running locally at the moment. And theoretically, even take a look at that. We have this file system example. It knows how to do the access to different files. I mean, even this one is even not possible to run remotely, right? It's only local option here is available. Which way? It's probably a bigger topic. Maybe I will create another video on the security about that and how you can be on a safe side. One way could be you can run it in a Docker environment, and this is kind of then it's in isolation, right? And you might be more secure in this case. But again, for some MCP servers, it's not possible. Like here's the file system. It's supposed to access your system, local one. And so, for example, if you go to sequential thinking MCP, we have the two ways how to execute it. We have the npx tool still, right? And at the same time, we have the Docker. So this one is more secure, definitely. So you need to think about that always. I mean, you can hear a lot of advices how cool the tool is, that you have a bunch of different servers already available, but always keep in mind that this is a program someone wrote and you have no idea what it's executing under the hood, right? You need to be very extremely sure that everything is fine, because whatever can happen here. So this is the big issue in that. And another thing I wanted to mention, that again, this is the technique, right? You have a command and it should run a local server with a specific protocol, which means that you can run whatever you want, right? It should not be this TypeScript, for example, and there are a lot of available SDKs already. And practically you can use already Python, TypeScript, Java, Kotlin, and C# for that. So you can pick the tool of the language of your own you like the best and create another MCP server that serves your needs. All right, that was it for today's very short session. I hope now you have better understanding how it works under the hood, right? So this is a local MCP server running on your machine, and you just provide a command, and now you're aware of this JSON configuration. It's not scaring you anymore, right? And it was me, Evgeny. Thanks for spending time with me and watching the video till the end, and I will see you next time in the next video about MCP. See you and bye-bye.